So, we watched the TNA Christmas special, so since we had access to it, we decided to watch the Raw Christmas special, which was the first WWE show that either of us has watched in, probably 3 or 4 years in full.
At least.
I mean, we've seen
yeah.
pieces of it here and there, when we just happen to be on a trip or something.
Usually as much as we could tolerate was about 15 minutes.
Yeah, and so we decided, well, we watched an old TNA special, so why not see how the old dub is doing this today? And it sucked.
Man, that was the most boring crap I've ever watched in my life.
We were about an hour and 15 minutes in when you leaned over and said, how much more of this shit do we have?
I didn't think I could take it, man. It was so bad.
Well, we finished it, which is probably a credit to both of us because that show was so dull. The announcers for the show were Michael Cole, Renee Young, and Corey Graves, and they were all basically dull and lifeless like everything else in the show.
I think they were as bored as we were, to be honest.
Probably. But this was the Christmas Eve edition of Raw, just for anyone who's wondering, 2018. Half the show would seem like it was guys from TNA. And unfortunately, they didn't seem like they were any more interested in it than we were. So the very first thing on the show... Oh, do you want to sum up anything? Did you already say what you wanted to say about the old show overall?
I thought it was overly choreographed. Little to no emotion on the parts of the wrestlers and the audience. The audience was just dead, man.
Yeah, they only popped a couple of times, and one of those was the very first segment because they really like Elias. He came out, they got a good pop, they chanted along with him about walking with Elias or whatever, and he sang a little song like he was The Rock in his rock concerts, and he was one of the only people the crowd seemed to actually care about one way or the other. And then we got a Miracle on 34th Street fight. And yes, you heard that right. So it was a street fight with presents and the Christmas tree and Legos. It was actually one of the better parts of the show, as bad as that might sound. Started out really slow until we got somebody hit with the tree. And then they pulled out, instead of tacks, a bag of Legos. I think I'd rather have the tacks.
Me too.
So, Lashley went on the pile of Legos.
Mm-hmm.
Took a fire extinguisher to the face. Elias put his manager, Leo Rush, through a table. And then we got a classic Attitude Era spot where a bowling ball to the nuts of Bobby Lashley. Yep. And then a guitar to the back of Elias finally pinned him. Then he dumped eggnog on Rush's head. So this was a garbage match, but it was mildly entertaining after the slow start. You got anything you want to add to this one?
I just wanted to make one comment about Elias' promo where they put him in as a stand-in for Rock, like his Rock concert. This guy sucks. He can't carry a tune. There's no way in hell he's going to touch Rock. They just set him up to fail.
I don't know about that. The crowd seems to like him. I mean, I didn't really care.
The crowd was stupid and dull, too, so...
But I mean, he was the only person who got any kind of reaction.
That's
so
true, but
whether I like him or not, I'm not going to bury him because at least he had some kind of reaction. I didn't find him that entertaining, but they did, so, whatever.
Well, considering what else was there, I guess maybe he was the most entertaining, which isn't saying a whole lot.
And that might be true. So we got a recap of some boring McMahon promos who were basically... Did you get that they were the... I can't talk.
Impression?
Yeah, that's it. That word. That they were cutting like TNA-style promos that they knew the product sucked and they were promising it was going to get better.
Yes.
In fact, so it went along with the fact that we had all the TNA guys. It's just... Ugh. Anyway, so it was the same promos from the McMahon, other than the content was different. And then we got promised we were going to see McMahon-to-Claus. Jesus.
There wasn't much emotion really from the McMahons.
No, not even them.
It's like they were dead and they were just standing in.
Yeah. And Slater said he wants Ryder back. I don't know what's going on with where Ryder went or what happened to him, but okay. So throughout the night, we got these kind of interludes of someone asking Santa for something. It was really dumb. But it was Christmas, so it did fit that. But it was dumb. The problem was none of them were really that entertaining. Which is the problem with the whole show in general. Anyway, I've bitched enough about that. On to the next match. So we had Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, who are the tag team champions, versus the Revival, which is Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson. I've not actually seen the Revival, and I've never seen Roode and Gable tag together. Although I've obviously seen lots of Bobby Roode since we watched TNA for so long. The crowd was absolutely dead. Pretty much the entirety of the match until Roode tagged in with the hot tag. Technically, it was an entertaining match, but the crowd did not give any shits at all.
I mean, it was like silent.
Yeah. Roode was the only one who got any kind of reaction, and it was barely it was more like a polite, oh yeah, Bobby Roode, yeah.
Oh yeah, Bobby Roode, woo, and that's about it.
Yep, and then at the end, Gable won with an inside cradle. Technically, like I said, I enjoyed it, but it was just a dead crowd, and it kills the match when the crowd is like that. And it wasn't going to get any better for the crowd either.
No, kept thinking it would, but it didn't.
No. So then we got a backstage segment where the B team was singing. They were singing the First Day of Christmas stupid song. I hate Christmas music.
They never could get it right.
Did I mention that? Yeah, because they're dumb. That's the gimmick. They're dumb. And that way it reminded me of the TNA special that everyone was dumb. But the difference was that on TNA they were at least entertaining most of the time while being dumb. But on this show they were just dumb without being entertaining. Oh, the B team is Bo Dallas and Mike McGillicuddy, but no one cared about them, so I didn't care enough to say who they were either. Anyway, so we got more Hawkins. Kurt Hawkins asked from Santa to win a match. And then somebody named No Way Jose asked for clothes and hot chocolate. I mean, who the hell is No Way Jose? I don't know who these people are.
No Way Jose anyway.
I don't know. I don't know. And then we got a promo package for all the latest call-ups from NXT, that was one of the things I thought on the show. The promos weren't that good, but at least they were trying. So that's a plus. I'm really looking for pluses here. It's like sticking your hand in the dog's butt. You're trying to find something good. Is that a bad analogy? It's probably a bad analogy. But seriously, it felt like you were just looking into pure shit when you're watching this. That's what I mean to say.
You keep wondering when this shit's going to clear and you're going to see the actual product.
Yeah, but no, I'm tired, so I'm probably going to make some really bad analogies. But anyway, so Ziggler came on there and he asked for a trophy, the stupid one about who the best wrestler was. Something about he wanted to be on YouTube and respect, blah blah.
I want what I deserve, he says.
Oh, okay. Ziggles wanted some RESPCT. Yeah, it was okay. That was actually the sad part is that was one of the best promos on the show.
True.
Because at least there was some emotion in it, but it wasn't great, but it was better than most of the complete not. Oh, speaking of terrible promos. We got a pre-match promo before the next match. Drew McIntyre cutting the worst promo I've ever seen him cut. It was just... I put bleh. That's all I put about it.
It was like he memorized these words, and there was nothing behind the words. No emotion. His face looked dead. His eyes looked dead. He looked like he was just spitting it out.
And even beyond that, it was just the most bland verbiage possible.
True. It was just very generic.
I am going to beat everyone. I am the Scottish psychopath. He sure doesn't seem like a psychopath.
It was horrible.
And then we had a triple threat match between Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler, and Finn Balor. Crowd was silent again. I know I'm repeating myself, but I just want to point out that the crowd is just as dead can be. They're like deader than all our hopes and dreams from watching this show.
I'm telling you.
But so Drew dominated most of the match, and I don't really have that many notes because I was bored out of my mind. It was just a way to make Drew look strong, but not actually let him win. Because Balor pinned Ziggler with a coup de grace. It's like a double stomp off the top rope. Blah, blah.
Blah, blah,
Drew
blah.
then taunted Ziggler and got his ass kicked. So it didn't really get anyone over. And Balor goes on to do whatever it is. Because I didn't pay attention to it. I didn't know was there any stakes or anything on the line in this?
No.
Yeah, who cares? WWE doesn't care, so why should we?
And then, of course, we got a really nice...
Yeah, the Tribute to the Troops video is nice.
It was really
it's
good.
one of the things WWE does, it's nice. So
exactly.
in between burying them, we'll say, good job, WWE. And Now that I've said that, let's go back to burying them.
Well, I think it's nice what they do for the
It
troops,
is.
you know, to keep
I
the
know.
morale up and just to say thank you for everything they do for the rest of the world. It's nice.
Yeah, okay, that's true. But I don't want to get feeling too good. I want to embrace this.
You want to embrace the hate.
I
here,
want to
'cause
just
you
bring
feel
out my
really suck.
shovel, real here.
Oh, this show is so dead. My God.
Then we got more B-Team bad singing.
Mm-hmm.
My only comment is awful.
Yeah, very.
Then we got a terrible Vince McMahon as Santa Claus, saying we were going to now have women's tag team champions and some kind of match with John Cena. And I didn't care. I don't care now. I didn't care then.
His emotion was just as dead as the audience's was.
Yeah, when even Vince doesn't have any emotion, you know the show sucks.
Because he's always got some fire going there. No matter what he's doing, he enjoys it. But this
Now
time,
he didn't
no.
have a fire. He had like a matchstick.
Yeah, maybe.
And it was like billowing out because the wind, he had like really bad farts and it didn't quite catch it the right direction, so it was like trying to go out. See? Really bad analogies. That's what you guys come for, is to hear us rant about nothing that's important. And this is the most unimportant show you'll ever watch.
Oh, God. This is a show that is a waste of your time.
And 3 hours of wasted time.
Dude, go out and watch the buses go by. You get more excitement.
Go out and stick your genitals in a light socket. At least it'll give you some kind of feeling.
Oh, my Lord.
So the next match was a 6-woman tag team match with Mickie James, Dana Brooks, and Alicia Fox versus Sasha Banks, Ember Moon, and Bayley. The crowd was mostly dead again, up until the heat section. This match sucked. If I'd paid for it, I would have wanted my money back. It was botch after botch after botch. I felt like I was watching Sin Cara in the bad lighting. Bayley I put down here that she stole Bob Holly's old Sparky Plug outfit.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the match, she pins Mickie with the Bayley to belly, which is her finisher. Then the Riot Squad comes out and kills everyone. You have any comments about this shit show?
Yeah, I do.
Go for it.
Mickie James has put on some weight, and that's not that big a deal because she's a very attractive woman. But the problem is she had trouble getting up off the mat. She had to get up like an old woman, and she was huffing and puffing the whole darn match from the very beginning.
She looked like me when I get up in the morning when it comes to how she got up.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't look that good as far as physically, but Jesus Christ, she got up so slowly.
Slow, oh my God.
Like I said, like me getting up in the morning, especially these cold, horrible, despair-ridden mornings that have accompanied this miserable time of year. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year, and go fuck yourself. I mean, thanks for watching. Yeah. Wait, we got more of this.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Anyway.
So the end of that match was they all got beat up by Riot Squad in the story.
Yeah. Then we got a recap of the Rollins versus Corbin feud, which looked about as exciting as paint drying on the wall. Mm-hmm. You could watch slug racing, probably more fun than this match, although I will say that later on in the show, Rollins was the only other person other than Elias to get a real reaction, so kudos to you, Seth, for not sucking as like the other wrestlers have, or at least not letting the booking kill you. That's probably more accurate. I can't put this on the wrestlers.
No.
When you get this horrible of booking, nobody's getting over.
It was like there was no morale.
No, it's totally hopeless.
So the next thing on the agenda was Paul Heyman, which was always good.
You know, I always know when I'm rambling when you move on to the next topic. But that's fair.
There's not much more to say about that.
No.
We beat the crap out of it.
Oh no, I wanted to bring the hammer this time, but much like the show, I've been led dead and empty. Even the Heyman promo wasn't very good. I'm sorry, it just wasn't. He was singing. He was one of the only things that got a pop. I didn't count him because he wasn't a wrestler, but he did get some reaction from the crowd. He was trying to hype the Brock versus Braun Strowman match at the pay-per-view. Oh, God. And then Braun comes out. Normally, I don't mind seeing Braun, but he comes out with a red nose and antlers, puts them on Heyman, cuts an awful promo, and then doesn't even beat him up or anything.
We forgot to say that, Heyman was so terrified he was shaking.
Oh, yeah, that was fine. And Braun said something about Brock was going to get these hands at the pay-per-view or something.
It's like, okay, but what are you going to do with those hands?
Wouldn't you like to know?
I probably wouldn't. It might be too disgusting for me.
Fisting F5s, that's what we're going to see.
Oh, God.
Okay. Yeah, it was really bad. The Braun part of the promo, and because they threw the Christmas stuff in there. And I'm sorry, Braun is like supposed to be a badass, but why is he putting a Rudolph antlers on somebody? It doesn't make any sense.
It didn't make any sense. It was kind of stupid, you know.
That'd be like trying to portray me as a badass.
You know, it was stupid. What was the purpose of putting the antlers and the nose on Paul Heyman? It wasn't scary. It wasn't intimidating with it.
It just made him look like a big doofus.
Made him look like an idiot. You're right.
Which is a shame because they built him pretty well as a bad guy, even in limited episodes I saw.
I mean, if it went down there and picked him up and...
Even if he didn't actually throw him, if he just picked him up and scared the shit out of him, it would have been fine.
Pick him up by his lapels and shake him around a little bit, you know. Yeah. That would have been okay.
You know, like a Galveston babysitter.
There you go.
If anybody gets that, you get a cookie. Anyway, on to the next part of this god-awful shit show. So we got a Natalya interview, which was the most boring, generic face promo possible. At this point, I was thinking that perhaps jumping out the window would be a better option than finishing the show. We got Bliss, who asked saying what she wanted for Christmas, and all she did was taunt Ronda Rousey and Natalya. It was nothing, but it wasn't as painful as some of the other stuff. Then we got Tyler Breeze saying he wanted Ariana Grande tickets. Ooh.
Who the hell is Ariana Grande?
You're better off not knowing. Just trust me. Some things are better off not known.
Awesome.
So then we got a women's championship match, which was one of the only things on the show I actually enjoyed. So I will put it over after burying the rest of this miserable garbage.
I think it was the best match of the show. It should
have
absolutely. Been the main event.
Yeah, it was the best match of the show. I thought. And,
those two ladies
the main event wasn't bad either, but I like this better. Ronda Rousey, it's the first time I've seen her wrestle. She was very good. She's good at selling. She's good at pretty much everything there is in the ring. She's just a really good, very fast wrestler with good skills.
This was for the women's championship.
I did say that. See, now I'm boring you too, aren't I?
No,
it's listening to talking about this horrible show. You just start to go into a daze. Seriously, if I didn't say it, don't watch this show.
This show will put you in a
Just
coma.
listen to us talk about it, and then don't watch it.
Don't watch it.
Don't watch it. It's horrible. Did I mention it's terrible? Anyway, the crowd was split between the two, which means they were actually reacting, which is amazing. So I didn't even mention. I didn't give them their credit because they actually got a reaction too. So it's basically.
I think they got the best pop.
Yeah. So 2 men, 2 women, and a manager, and everybody else was pretty much dead the rest of the night. So the ending was pretty cool, where Rousey countered the sharpshooter into the armbar for the submission. Good stuff. Real good match. You got any comments on this one? Since that's, I know I haven't really asked you on some of them, but.
Oh, this one I do have some comments on. I think that this was probably the best mat wrestling match I've seen from a woman.
Good point. I forgot to mention mat wrestling.
Awesome. And Natalya, of course, you expect her to come higher on the bar because of where she comes from. She comes from the Hearts. And you could see strong odes of Bret and Anvil Hart in a lot of her moves. It was kind of fun to watch.
And Ronda.
And Rousey, well, my God, it's Ronda Rousey, baddest bitch on the planet. Come on.
She's really
awesome.
She's taken to wrestling very quickly.
Yes, she has. She's really good, and I was very happy to watch her.
Although I honestly think she would do better as a heel simply because that's closer to her natural personality.
Yeah, she's got that resting bitch face thing going and scares the shit out of people. Yeah,
which makes me like her, but you know.
Oh, I do too.
So.
I love to see a strong woman.
Yep.
Willing to put it out there and whoop some ass.
As long as she's not trying to box, she's great.
Yeah, no, boxing is not her forte.
So, then we went back to the misery.
Oh, God.
We got a boring Dean Ambrose heel promo, which did nothing for me. He's supposed to be feuding with Rollins, but I think he cared as little as I do. And then I just made a note because during the commercials right before the break, we got a promo for a movie, The Rock cutting a promo for the movie about Paige's career and her life. And his promo in that movie was better than every other promo on the show. And it wasn't even that good of a Rock promo. It was his typical promo, and it was still better than every other promo on the show by a mile.
Absolutely. At least he commanded your attention and entertained you.
Exactly. And that's far more than any other promo on the show.
True.
So, after that, we got back to more boring, crappy wrestling. Slater versus Jinder Mahal with the Singh brothers.
Considering that I hate both of those wrestlers,
I think you tuned out during this match.
I did. I can't stand either one of them. I think they both suck.
No, that's fair. That's because they do both suck. And so Santa came out. He got more response giving presents than the wrestlers did. And the things interfered because Jinder is so pathetic that even though he's a world champion, he couldn't beat a jobber like Heath Slater by himself. So Slater wins by DQ, and then Rhino shows himself as Santa and gores Jinder, and that was it. And the peasants rejoiced.
Yeah, because it was almost over with. That's what they were really cheering
That's what
about.
I was happy about.
Oh my God, this is almost over. Thank you, thank you.
Then we got another terrible B-Team singing segment.
Mm-hmm.
And then they repeated the Santa McMahon segment again. Why?
Why?
Then they repeated the new wrestler promos from earlier. And at this point, I'm like, why? Why do you hate your audience, Vince?
What did he ever do to you?
Please give the company to someone else who might actually make it decent.
He did. He gave it to Stephanie.
No, yeah, she's anyone else. Just give it to Triple H. I don't care. Give it to the hot dog vendor in row 3 and let him book it. It can't be much worse. So we got a Rollins promo, which was also boring. Just the most bland thing you can think of.
Just flat, man. No emotion.
If you can think of the most bland promo for a face, that's what this was for the 4th or 5th time this night. So then we got some more wrestlers asking Santa because they're so dumb they don't realize he's not real. You know, I could get it with Eric Young in TNA because he's Eric Young and he's a dummy. That was his gimmick back then. But every wrestler in the WWE is apparently so dumb they don't realize Santa's not real. Or at least he's dead. Whatever you want to say, you know. So Apollo Crews asked for a tank so that he could flip it and then do a moonsault over it. Then the Ascension, you didn't catch that?
Yeah, I caught it. I'd
And the
forgotten
Ascension said they wanted to punish their opponents for Christmas because they wanted to do something different instead of just losing, I guess. I don't know.
That's what they said.
Who knows? Angle said that he'd already got his present with Corbin losing. And he looked weird. I don't know, something was off about him today.
His gait was off, like there was something wrong with him.
Hopefully everything's okay in Castle Angle. And then we got the main event, which was actually decent. Rollins versus Baron Corbin. So Rollins actually came out to a reaction, which was rare on this show. And he started out hot, just beating the crap out of Corbin all over the place. The crowd was actually a little into it, which was different. They got burn it down chants near the end of the match.
There were pops here and there.
Yeah, exactly. They actually had some life to them, like you would expect in a wrestling match. And during the comeback, it ended up Corbin countered the curb stomp. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I think I just vomited on myself.
You're disgusting.
I am disgusting. So finally, Rollins hits the curb stomp for the win. I didn't write a whole lot on this match because it was one of the few things on the show I was actually watching closely and enjoying and not feeling the pure misery and hatred of the holiday season this time. See, TNA got me up watching it, made me feel like I was enjoying wrestling, and then I watched this show and it just killed.
Just brought you right down to earth, didn't it?
It killed my passions like watching naked fat cheerleaders bouncing on a trampoline.
Oh, God. Damn, that's bad, dude. That's really bad.
Not just fat either. Ugly, old, with like wrinkles and their boobs hanging down to their kneecaps. That kind of thing. That's what I equate to watching the WWE Raw.
That's really, really painful.
Yes, but I'm not sure it would be any more painful than watching that 3-hour show again.
No, I think this is more painful than what you just described.
Yes. This show was the worst.
I have to say that they did a promo for Edge and Christian's new show,
Mm.
and I enjoyed that more than the Raw show, except for the Natalya and Rousey match.
And I thought Rollins and Corbin was decent. I saw basically there were 2 matches worth of crap, and the rest of the show was pretty much garbage.
Pretty much.
So you got about 30 minutes out of 3 hours that was worth anything, and the rest made you want to peel your eyes open and pour salt into them.
That's the only way you could watch this and get any enjoyment out of it is to watch it where you could fast forward.
Yeah, DVR.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Fast forward it, just watch the 2 matches. Let it rock.
Or with copious amounts of drugs and alcohol.
About the drugs, but the alcohol, yeah. I can see
I
that.
don't recommend doing that, but if you must watch Raw, I think it's the only way you could possibly do so without opening a vein.
True.
So,
But what you could do is invite some over that you really despise and make them watch it. Then it would be worth
that's
it.
pretty cruel.
Exactly.
So, it's after Christmas now, but if you want to have an unmerry Christmas, watch this horrible, horrible show. If you want to enjoy your life and do something productive, like running out into traffic or staring at the wall, counting your belly button hairs, then watch this show.
Got any laundry to do? Do that instead. You'd enjoy it much more.
It would be more exciting. Washing the dishes.
Anything.
Anything is much better than this because this show sucks.
I don't normally do windows, but I'd do windows rather than watch
You would
this show.
have better time using your tongue to clean the window than this show.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you.
So, Happy New Year to everyone. We're going to post this along with the TNA Christmas special. And may God have mercy on the souls of everyone who watched this horrible, horrible show. See you next time.
See you next time.